Hi everyone, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. My name is Chrissy, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be sharing with you guys on how to cut and sew this beautiful trendy leg of mutton sleeve. If this sounds like something you're interested to learn, please keep on watching and let's get started. So the picture at the center was my inspiration and the videos on both sides was my recreation. Hit or miss? I got it right? Yeah, so let's dive right into today's tutorial. So guys, to start out with this tutorial, you will need to draft a long basic sleeve. So I have a tutorial on how to go about the drafting of your long basic sleeve. I'll leave the link in the description box. Okay, so right here I marked 3.5 inch. This is for my cap height. I made a straight line with it, and from that upper part I'll go ahead and make my curve for the sleeve. Okay, so once I'm through with this, next thing I want to do is to include my round sleeve circumference. I'm not adding any allowance yet. So at this part, I'm going to also include my wrist circumference here, half of it. Go ahead and connect the 2 points like so. Also connect to that point. Okay, so once I'm through with this, guys, you can see what I have here. Next thing is to cut it out. Okay, so after cutting, the next thing you want to do now is to measure what I have here. I'm going to measure what I have there. I had about 9 inch. I'm going to divide 9 inch by 2. Then I'll mark half of it just like this. After making your point there, I'll place my stretch ruler like this. Then I'm going to connect from there to that point. Can you see? So the next thing I want to do now is a slash and spread method. So to achieve this leg of mutton sleeve, you will need to make a slash and spread method for it. Okay, so I want to make use of 4 slash. So I mark 2 inch and also mark 2 inch again. So I have about 2 points there, as you can see. I'll connect them in a straight line like this. All right, so after that I'll go ahead and slash. Okay, you're not going to cut everything out. You're going to just leave about quarter of an inch. Do not cut everything out, just cut it this way. So after cutting, you have something looking like this. Next thing is to place another fresh paper. You can see what I have here. Then I used my pin to pin them in place, as you can see. So I want to do a spread method. So what I had here on that space was 2.5 inch. It depends on how full you want it. You can make yours 4 inch, 3.5 inch. It depends on how full you want it to be. Okay, so from that point there, I'm going to connect like this, like you make a straight line. Okay, just like that. Next thing you want to do after making this straight line is to trace the side. Okay, just like this. Please, my pattern paper is not on a fold. This is for tutorial's sake. If you are cutting on your actual fabric, like if you're transferring the pattern on your actual fabric, you can fold your fabric by two and cut it out. Okay, so I came up by 3.5 inch. This is for my cap height. Yours could be 4 inch, yours could be 4.5. For me, I had 3.5 inch for mine. So I'll just connect from there to that point. I made my sleeve curve from that point, can you see, to this other point. Okay, so once I'm through with that, I'll go ahead and cut it out. Okay, so that straight line I marked there, I used it as the folded part of this pattern, since it's not on the fold yet. You get? So after cutting, guys, this was what I had. Next thing I want to do now is to transfer this to the actual fabric. So I'm going to add half inch for stitching allowance. Can you see what I'm doing here? I'll add half an inch for stitching allowance all the way around. After tracing, you cut it out just like this. Okay, so make sure your fabric is on a fold. Mine is on a fold now, so you can see what I had here after I was done cutting. The next thing you need to do is to take note of this armhole. You can see that point I chalked is where my armhole stopped, and at this part here is the first line I slashed. You get? Go ahead and make your point and notch the first line. Remember, we slashed from the first line. I don't think you get what I'm saying. Please watch I'm doing so you understand better. Okay, so you're going to notch the first line that we slashed. You can rewatch the video to understand. Okay, and you're also going to chalk this part, that is the part the armhole stopped. You get? So what you're going to do now is to go ahead and run your gather stitch. All right, from that part where you marked, from that first line I notched, Go ahead from there, make your gather stitch and stop at the other side. Okay, so guys, after making my gather stitch, I'll go ahead and gather. Okay, I'll go ahead and gather like so. Do the same thing for the other side as well. Okay, so after gathering, guys, you can see what I have here. So the next thing I want to do now is to measure from this part to that point. My armhole depth was 7.5 inch. Okay, and it's on a fold, so I'm going to start from that point to stitch all the way around. Okay, I'll use half an inch to stitch this other side, then I will fold here. I'm going to fold like so, then you stitch it down. So after stitching, guys, this was what I had. If your armhole is 8 inch, you can go ahead and measure 8 inch. 8 inch by 2 is 16 inch. Okay, so after I was done sewing, you can see what I have here for the front piece. I've turned it outside right, as you can see, and this is how beautiful it's looking. Next thing you want to do now is to attach it to your dress, and you are good to go. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.